representing the city of Malabon, the better half of another Congressman Bem Noel, who is a colleague of ours. Let's all welcome J. Josephine Veronique Lacson Noel. Yan po, from Malabon. Also to her left, excuse me po, we have a very familiar last-sounding name. He's a third-termer, if I'm not mistaken, representing the 6th district of the city of Quezon City, the very abled and well-meaning congressman of Quezon City, Kit Belmonte. Also with us today, we have ito mga muso ng Metro Manila. She is the better Tambunting, and she has now pitched in for the former chairman of the Games and Amusements aboard the chairman committee, Gas Tambunting. Let's all welcome Congresswoman Joy Myra Tambunting po. Also to her right, ito, she needs no further introduction dahil she is also the better half of the former chairman of this committee. She is representing the 2nd district, the largest district in Quezon City. Ano po? Let's all welcome the still very good-looking, kung naalala niyo po, artista ho ito, child star, ano po? Let's all welcome Congresswoman, former councilor, now Congresswoman Precious Hipolito Castelo po. Also to her right, we have a first-term congressman. He has served Quezon City in so many capacities, and also once serving in the board of PCSO. Let's all welcome Congressman Bong Suntay, who is also the chairman, incidentally, of the Committee on Human Rights. Tama, ano po? So maraming salamat po sa inyo mga kasamaan. Go ahead, Dr. David, pakituloy lang ho. At kung meron po tayong mga kasamaan na gustong magtanong, Opo. Are you done, Dr. David, or are you open to interpellation or question or?
If you allow, Mr. Chair, you po ito yung kasi figure.
Of course, go ahead po. Go ahead.
So ito po yung gusto nating paliwanag kanina, Mr. Chair. Sabi nga po is sa ngayon po, base po sa projection ng Pag-asa, baka ho mas mababa lang sa 190 ang magiging level natin, no? Kung wala ho talagang mga significant rainfall na darating, no, within the year, base naman po sa projection ng Pag-asa, baka di umabot ng 190, no, ang level ng Gatdam by the end of the year. Kaya nga po by this time, pagka 190, kasabi nga po kanina, prioritizing Metro Manila water supply, mapapaabot naman po natin, no, hanggang summer next year, yung tubig. Ang ano lang po is kailangan talaga nating ma-manage yung supply, but probably po magpapatuloy yung hindi normal na allocation, no, for the water supply for Metro Manila na kagaya po ngayon, mga around 40 cubic meters per second lang, which is 13% na mas pababa po sa normal na alokasyon na binibigay po natin. So ito po yung gusto natin as much possible, ma-minimize po talagang impact, considering na wala hong mga significant rainfall na dumarating po sa ngayon. Although we are hopeful po na mag-improve ang situation with the projection po na Pag-asa, may mga darating pong bagyo po, Mr. Chair.
Salamat po, Dr. David. Yes, Congressman Roman, you have a question to address Dr. David. Thank you. You have the floor.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, anyone, ang tanong ko lang kasi, Mr. Chairman, very convenient yung excuse ng lahat ulan So, hindi naman makakadepensa talaga dito yung ulan. Ang question talaga dito is that moving forward, plano, and previously po, no one was able to, kung laging ulan na lang ang natin, wala bang mga iba na pwede tayo rely on? Kasi kung ulan, ang dali lahat ng magsasalita dito, ulan ang sasabihin may kasalanan Pero ang point is, moving forward, wala bang preparation na pwedeng gawin? Or in the previous administration, did they not foresee this? Wala bang ginawa para siguraduhin man lang na may umulan o hindi umulan, ay may sapat na tubig para sa Metro Manila, may sapat na tubig para sa agriculture. So we need an answer to that kasi puro ulan eh. So tayo ho, pagbalik natin ng distrito natin, hindi natin pwede sabihin yung ulan. Dahil tatanungin sa atin, ano yung ginawa natin? Bakit hindi natin sila kinulit? So Mr. Chairman, pwede bang may sumagot muna tungkol doon? Ulan lang ba ang talagang yun lang sisisihin natin? Wala bang naging preparation? Wala ba dapat naging planning previously or ngayon para pag nangyari yung pagkakataon na ganito ay hindi tayo mag-uusap ng ganito na may rationing.
Tama po yung sabi ni Congressman Roman. Actually, we cannot be reliant on the good graces of nature. And before anyone considers or thinks about replying to that question, with all due respect, Congressman Roman, can we just give the other agencies a few minutes to talk?
Sige, Mr. Chairman, I have no problem. But could we limit it? Kasi ang ibibigay lang naman sa atin numbers eh. Which we all know. Madali yan eh. Data is very easy eh. But at the end of the day, baka mauwi rin sa bintang lang sa ulan ulit. Ang point ko, ang tagal na pinag-uusapan ng climate change. More than a decade ago. So, did we have no institutional plan for this happening? Pero wala akong problema, Chairman, but I hope it's limited. Kasi lahat ito uuwi, babalik at babalik hanggang sa sinabi ng pag-asa na hindi tayo, yung rainfall, ito yung projection, so hanggang dito lang. So, hahaba lang tayo, wala rin tayong sagot after.
Can we reserve that for a few minutes and then we'll ask Lua to say something and then followed by MWSS and then the first question to be tackled by any of you should address the question of Congressman Roman. Sige po, Engineer Jesse, 5 minutes po. Incidentally, Engineer Jesse is a former congressman of the 14th Congress and he is now the administrator of LUA. So go ahead, Engineer Jesse. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Your Honors. Ako po ay local water utilities at this is outside of Metro Manila. The last time po nag-meeting kami with MMDA, si Kong Winnie pa yung nagpe-preside doon with Speaker GMA. Sinabi ko po na in case of crisis in Metro Manila, pwedeng sumuporta yung mga water districts namin surrounding Metro Manila. Right now, we're doing an inventory of all the possible water districts that can accommodate supply in case of really crisis. The way we look at it po, I was just in Zamboanga. They expect only 2 rainfall from today to March. Rationing na po ang Zamboanga, ang Sibugay, actually even Cebu. In Cebu, kamukha ang sasabi ni Congressman Roman, we are now thinking of doing desalination for Mactan. Kasi Mactan, wala ho talagang water source. So Cebu needs about 200 MLD, that is 200 million liters a day. Yun ang shortage po nila. So sila ngayon ay nagre-rationing din. Almost the whole Philippines is experiencing shortage. Pero unlike po sa mga water districts, kaya namin i-manage kasi maliliit lang ito. Pinakamalaki, Davao. Ngayon, may news ako, Davao magkakaroon ng water interruptions because naman dahil sa lindol. Nabasag yung kanilang mga water lines. No? But for Cebu, for Bacolod, for Cagayan, for Iloilo, they're all experiencing water shortage. Pero wala pong lumalabas masyado sa national dailies kasi pag puro local lang sila. Tsaka dito lang kasi tayo marami. Diba? Manila and Manila Water are servicing approximately 2.5 million households. That is about times 5, that's about 12 to 13 million people. Ito po ay single biggest supply. Ang Davao is the biggest of, say, 400,000 households. Ito, Metro Manila is about 2.5. So isipin lang po ninyo, ang kinakain natin tubig araw-araw, no? Ay yung nauubos natin tubig. So, kami po ni Director David, magkababayan kami, but we usually communicate kung ano yung mga rainfall, kasi nahihirapan din tayo. Mga farmers din kailangan isipin natin kanya all around. Tsaka tunayan po, marami kasing mga ahensya kami rito na kailangan meron sa tubig. That's why, well, this afternoon, yung kay Congressman Salceda was magkakaroon ng TWG for the Department of Water, which could possibly be part of a solution. It is not the whole solution, but it is integrating all water agencies into one. Para isa na lang ang pwede tanungin. No? Ang kami po naman ay ngayon, ang water district, para lang po malaman ninyo, we're serving about 25% only of the population. Means 25 million people. Yung iba, ang total ano po natin ay 43%, which is between Lua at 25, tapos yung Metro Manila is about 12, tapos yung mga local water LGU run, saka private, they're about 12 or 10. So yun po ang distribution. But ang government run, we're only serving 23%. So it is a long way to go for us. At, well, masasabi ko po during our time with si Kong Roman is wala pang water shortage nun 2007 So parating flooding. So we never got to think about water shortage. Ngayon pa lang namin naisip, sabi ko nga din sa last meeting, kahit kay Speaker GMA, no, sabi ko, nakalimutan natin to, ma'am. Sabi niya, bakit nga? Sabi ko, hindi ko po alam Di ba? Because sa isip natin, when it rains, it pours. Ngayon, it doesn't rain anymore. So ang atin ngayon, nagtanong po sa akin nung sa interview, sabi nila, when can we be water sufficient? Sabi ko, if we started 10 years ago, we'll be sufficient by now. If we start now, 10 years from now, we will be sufficient. So it is the right time to start for the future, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you po, Engineer Congressman Jesse. We got 2 points the way I understood it from what you're saying. Number one, you have a surplus water that you are willing to share with the water concessionaires. Tama po ba?
Hindi po surplus. We will ask them to give us a good heart.
And who is they? And where will that come from po?
This will be po as far as siguro...
Hindi naman sa ulan galing ho yun.
Hindi po. Mga deep wells to.
Opo.
Tsaka rivers. Dito po
Opo.
from Bulacan. Pero Bulacan ko, konti rin. Then we go to Pampanga. We go to Bulacan. We go to Tarlac. We go to Cavite and Laguna. Yan po ang pagkukuhanan natin kung in case. Pero sa dami ng ating water trucks, baka magkakatraffic tayo sa EDSA.
So, is that a commitment coming from your agency and your stakeholders po?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I've discussed this already with them and they are now doing an
So,
inventory.
ilan po, in terms of volume, ilan po ba yung pwede nyong i-commit dito ho? Kung sakali ho naman.
Hindi po namin ma-consolidate, but we have to look at it on the north and the southern
Binanggit nyo kanina, 200 MLD.
yung sa ano po yun? Sa Cebu po yun, Cebu.
Oo.
Yung dito po, maliliit lang po yung mga to. We got siguro dito sa Bulacan, ilan lang po ang sufficient.
Total po, total.
Well, roughly, hindi ko alam kung makakakuha kami ng mga 10 to 20 MLD a day.
I think that's safe to say po na as of today, you're committing 20 MLD in times of, is that readily available? Kung ano po, kunyari, sabihin ng NUWRB na talagang we're in critical water level of 140, can you?
Actually, ang mabibigay lang po siguro ng water district about 10 to 15% of whatever they're producing kasi magko-complain naman yun.
Opo.
However po, ang sinasabi, kamukha nung sabi ni Kong Roman, is meron tayong other sources pero yung they need treatment facilities. So kung if we start treatment facilities now, it will siguro take us about a year. Halimbawa, dito po sa Pagsanhan, ang daming tubig dyan. Di ba? Dito sa Santa Cruz, Laguna, maraming tubig dyan. Dito sa Laguna Divide, may tubig dyan. Ang portion of Manila Bay, pwede. Baka sa Cavite, pwede. Desalination. But ito po ay kailangan meron tayong investment on survival. Kasi tubig yan
Opo, pero hindi naman po pwedeng basta tayo maglagak ng pondo. Alam nyo, 7,107 islands, we're surrounded by bodies of water and yet wala ho tayong tubig. Ngayon, yung sinasabi ninyong new methodology of desalination, that will be even more costlier, if I'm not mistaken. And it will also entail a lot of funding.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. Ang desalination po, it will cost about 60 pesos per cubic. We're now charging about 220 per cubic. That is about 60 pesos per cubic. It is times 3 siguro if 200. Hindi ho ganun kamahal yan compared to mineral water. Because pag desalination, you will be just spending less than 1 peso per liter.
Oo, at yung desalinated water, ang importante ho naman talaga actually is drinking water because this committee has already passed, for your information po, on our level, the rainwater harvest facility. So yun po, papasa namin sa plenaryo and hopefully it will also help this nation in the supply of water. But nonetheless, we will take a good note of what you're mentioning po, Engineer Congressman Jesse. So is there any other thing that you would like to mention before I pass the floor to the General Salamat of MWSS?
Yes, sir. Since the LUA is dependent on the GAA funding, the LUA has not gotten any much funding from the government. That's why yung mga lugar natin, let's say about, sabi nga nyo, 7,000 islands, we have only 528 water districts, which is very far from, actually po, for 2020, ang hiningi namin was 4 billion. Para nga dito sa mitigating, dito sa mga El Nino, ganun, we were given only 325. Ito pa, para sa Mandamus pa ito, which is those water districts that pollute the Manila Bay. So wala ito dun sa mga areas na outside of Manila. So napakahigpit. Kanya nga we were welcoming the creation of the Department of Water para maging national budget naman ang tubig po.
Kanino po nyo hiningi yung sinasabi ninyong extra funding? Kanino po ba, if I may ask?
Our NEP to the DBM. Pero unfortunately nabawasan, naging 10% lang.
Eh sayang ko, kakatapos lang namin ng budget deliberation at mga kasamaan namin dito karamihan vice chair ng APRO rin and we could have done something. But nonetheless, we will still continue on to work on your budget allocation. Yes, Congressman Roman, you have something to say.
Yes, una-una, Chairman, nagpapasalamat ako na si Engineer Jesse Lapusay nandiyan na. Kasi katulad ng binanggit niya, sabi niyo may 2 points siyang mahalaga. Pero may isa pa siyang mahalagang sinabi kanina. Previously, walang plano. I think, Mr. Chairman, if we can get a certification from all agencies present here this morning, if the previous administrations, based on data or record in their respective agencies, had a plan. Kasi sabi nga ni Engineer Jesse sa atin, magkasama po kami with Jay, 2007, ang first term namin dito. Pero alam natin paano naman ang gobyerno. Tayo po sa Kongreso, alam mo naman to, Jesse, di ba? Sinasubmitan tayo ng budget. Pagka walang plano, walang budget sinubmit ang current administration ng panahon na yon o yung previous administration, we cannot act. Hindi naman natin pwedeng i-augment Hindi natin pwedeng paakitin ang budget o bigyan bigla. Depende po yan sa administrasyon. Ang nakikita ko ngayon, base sa sinabi ni Engineer Jesse, ngayon gumagawa na siya ng plano. Pero previously, apparently, walang plano. Kasi walang budget na hiningi. Kaya walang budget noon. So I think that is one thing that this committee should require from all these agencies. Submit to this committee a plan para pagdating ng next budget hearing or pagdating ng committee meetings, pwedeng humingi. Kasi sabi, wala nga dati. Paano natin lalagyan ng budget kung hindi naman humingi sa atin yung dating DBM? Baka hindi naman humingi ang dating DBM kasi wala namang sinabit na plano yung agencies before. But now, nandito po tayo ang sasagot By next year po, kung magkukulang ang tubig ulit, again, thankful tayo na may mga nagvo-volunteer, pero based on the franchise naman of Manila Water in Maynilad, dapat po, yung sinasabi ni Engineer Jesse, dapat nang provide ng Maynilad at Manila Water yan. Yan yung mga trucks na hindi naman po yan tubig na ibibigay sa gripo eh. Yan ang trucks na iikot eh, para magbigay ng tubig. Pero hindi naman tayo pwedeng ganito ho, Mr. Chairman. Umaasa tayo sa ulan, laging excuse ulan. Pangalawa, band-aid solutions lahat. Trucks ang papaikot natin. Alam natin, hindi naman tama yun. Dapat may long-term planning. At yun yung hinihingi natin na i-submit na sa committee.
Thank you po for the very valid observation. And later ho, before we pass the floor to General Salamat, alam nyo po, just for the information of the body, during the 17th Congress, and just like any other leader, all of us are leaders in our own rights. Tayo po, we prepare plans. Just like what Congressman Roman is saying. Normally po, may mga iba, short-range plan. May iba po, gumagawa ng medium range, and others prepare for long-range plans. As far as the water industry is concerned, I think we should be prepared for these kinds of planning. In fact, in the last congresses that Congressman Roman is mentioning, there was a water security master plan that was prepared and submitted to this honorable committee, and that is the purpose on why we are asking you now kung nasa na yun. Ho? Yung long-term solution, yung mga pending long-term solutions, what is causing their delay? That is the reasons why we are holding this committee, because we are in this predicament not because there is a natural calamity happen, but like what I mentioned earlier, it is a man-made calamity that we are trying to seek. So, General Salamat, ano po ba ang masasabi po ng Manila Water and Sewerage System po? Being the administrator for the past 4 months, I'm sure you've approached so many battles before, so many encounters, and none as great as this one because it involves 15 million lives of the metropolitan Manila. So can you say a little, well, not a little, but a big something to assure the Metro Manilans on what to expect for the coming days as far as your agency is concerned, sir?
Sir, good morning to everyone. Water security, sir, is a function of government, or ensuring water security is a function of government that cannot be delegated. So it's a incumbent for the government to provide for its people yung needs of its for in this case for the Metro Manila, and under the charter of MWSS 6234, in the basis mandated to provide water, domestic water and other for other purposes po, for Metro Manila, and including the other service area, including Rizal and portion of Cavite. Sir, if I might be allowed, sir, I have prepared a short presentation, mga 8 to 10 slides lang to, sir. Just to show you, sir, some, also to answer some of the questions of Congressman Romulo, sir.
Sige po, go ahead. How long will that take po?
Mga 5 to
Sige po,
minutes
sige po,
na
sige po. Sige po. Sige po. We have 20 more minutes before we go on to our next issue, which is also a very important issue for Metro Manila, which is the Metro Subway.
So this is a
sige po,
water,
General Salamat.
sir, this presentation presents the water situation in Metro Manila. So the scope of my presentation will cover the present water situation in Metro Manila, the efforts and initiatives that will include short and long term to address the situation, and the infrastructure roadmap, which is also cover some portion of the plan, legacy plan of the MWSS. Next slide po. Next slide. So 96% of Metro Manila water supply come from Angat Dam. And for the record, Mr. Chair, until now, no major water source was developed except for water treatment plants from Laguna Lake and enhancement of our Angat Dam. The next slide, sir, will show for more than a month, water is being depleted faster than the nature can replenish it. And as of November 6, 2019, shown is the status of our dams. And Angat Dam is little above So na-explain na rin po kanina ng NWRB, so I will not focus on this. So next slide po. So dito rin po, pinakita na rin kanina. But what is notable in this graph po, the forecasted level of amount of rainfall at Angat Dam is probably significantly lower than the historical level. And assuming po that there will be no significant rainfall, the projection remaining at Angat Dam Reserve give us a little assurance that the current level will last until summer of next year. If we will remain, or we will maintain the current draw level of 40 ms, which I will also expound later on. And that's why, based on the historical data at Angat Dam since 1998, the red line represents the level of this year, which was lower, is lowest in June. And notable also is that in October of 1998 and this year, the level of Angat Dam is at its lowest in the past 20 years, with no certainty whether the Angat level would improve. And the situation in late October this year prompted us to implement protocols for the reduced water supply to our concessionaires in order to mitigate impact of this coming summer 2020. Hence, the main reason for the ongoing implementation of the rotational water interruption by the concessionaires. So next slide po is the coverage of the two concessionaires, the East Zone and the Manila Zone, serving about 7 million population in Metro Manila. The next slide, sir, is for the information of the committee. The MWS is in close coordination with the other agencies and the concessionaires, NWRB, NIA, NPC, Angat Dam, the Angat Hydro Corporation, now implements an advanced preparation for summer 2020 as part of the Water Supply Management Plan, which also a part dito po is yung rotational water service. The intent is to put forward and implement mitigating measures to address the current supply deficit and prepare contingency plans for the different water supply scenarios. The aim is to generate additional water, increase system reserve, reliability, and capability to meet the requirements at low water supply conditions. Next slide, sir, shows the updated demand projection of Manila and Manila Water up to the end of the concession agreement in 2037. The ongoing water sources projects, the short to long-term initiatives, specifically the building of dams, which is expected completion, are shown in blue shade. So makita niyo po yung from the dam alone, yung sa blue shades. The enhancement of current water system, including efforts in the recovery of non-revenue water, are shown in the orange shade. And the establishment of additional water treatment plant to produce additional supply from Laguna Lake are shown in green shades. Kasama na rin po dito yung mobile treatment plant that is being initiated by the two concessionaires. Sa yung green po sa taas. So essentially yung nagsasave po sa atin ngayon is yung orange and green shade po. Covering the water shortage. So yung initiative po ng two concessionaires are very significant po in closing the gap of the current shortage. So corresponding time, nakita po natin dito the additional supply from Laguna Lake, and then the corresponding timelines for all these initiatives are indicated by the broken vertical lines. One of the most significant or critical high impact component of this short-term water supply is the resumption of our Sumag project, which involves the diversion of Sumag River water flow to Tatali, leading to Angat Dam. So ito lang po yung makakapag-provide ng additional water for Angat Dam, yung Sumag diversion project natin, which is now currently on hold because of the incident happened last August 2016. So na-stop po to, and For 3 years, wala pong nangyari. Hindi po natuloy ito because of that incident. And for this contract to resume, kailangan lang po natin ng permit to quarry para matuloy itong project. But essentially, kung matuloy itong project, this will add additional raw water of 188 MLD, which is also significant to cover up yung ating shortage. And unfortunately, there has been ongoing stunt to the project. We are exerting effort to coordinate with the province of Quezon to issue the quarry permit. Next, makita nyo po yung pakibalik po. Yung makita nyo po yung current draw level natin at 40 cms and at the white broken lines and at 46 cms at yellow broken lines. With that current level po ng 40 cms, we are only providing about more than 3,500 MLD to the 2 concessioners. Yung supposed to be level of Angat Dam is about 5,000 po. Pwede natin ma-maximize yan because of the dysfunction doon sa mga tunnel, aqueduct, which is ongoing project of the NWSS. So yung ating aqueduct, tunnel 4 will be completed next year, 2020, which will provide additional raw capacity of 1,700 MLD. Hindi po yung ating tunnel po, but it will compensate po yung kasi ang current capacity lang po ng raw water na dumadaan sa tunnel 1 and 2 is only 380 so much, something like that po. So hindi natin na ma-maximize yung tunnel drawing from the Angat Dam. Pero nonetheless, kahit po maganda yung tunnel natin, kung walang laman yung ating Angat Dam, hindi rin po tayo makakakuha ng magandang tunnel. So, what I'm saying here, sir, is we don't have any redundant water source for Metro Manila, only Angat Dam. So, sa next slide po.
Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
baka dapat ho,
Yes,
for
Congressman
for the next hearing of this committee, kasi sinasabi sa atin ni General Salamat, kailangan yung sumag. Ang problema, may permits na hindi makuha. Baka dapat patawag yung ahensya o sino ang hindi nagbibigay ng permit para maintindihan natin. Because base sinasabi ni General Salamat, pag nabuksan nila next year ang sumag, may additional tunnel sila na magagawa na yun, walang hindrance, walang obstacle yun, di ba? Yung additional